Aha, I have done it. Hello. Welcome back to a long awaited scene for Red Branch, wherein, guys, some shit has gone down, and news is breaking. The Galliards are on every high surface known to man. I don't know. But news is definitely pouring in, and the results. Your mileage may vary. Some. Whew. Long story short, due to said news, people are flocking either to their friends to check in on family, or more likely, towards the Galliards. And there are a few better places to find a Galliard in full swing than the fire hall, which is probably why Maeve, among many others, is gravitating that way, having, in light of the stuff that's been getting talked about, abandoned her books for now, slid outside, and oh yeah, yeah, right to the fire hall, right into the middle of it, preferably somewhere that she can hear what's going on. I mean, she probably also is overdue to eat, but that's books. So yeah, Maeve will be waiting in, glancing around, seeing who's around, who isn't. There's at least one person that she suspects she will not see. Oh boy, we've already got music, guys.
Oh boy.
So yeah, Maeve's doing the Thayard scramble, looking around as she gets on her way from the dorms to the fire hall, keeping an eye on who's where, keeping an ear out, and just damn, trying to get close enough to hear what exactly has happened.
Well then. So, for Maeve and Kean, who is there? I'm saying you're there. Get used to it, Kean.
I'm always there in the
Because
background.
the McNamaras get passes for this. The news, well, it hits. The Battle of New York has officially ended. The casualties on both sides are harrowing. It's shocking, really. It is a resulting victory for the rebel faction, rebel element of House Wormfoe. It is it's an odd thing to see an entire room fall silent when the tale singer, who is the one spreading the news, because it is his job to tell such harrowing tales, to hear such gru loss of life. And that's what we're talking about here. We're not just talking about kinfolk. We're not just talking about, the one or two guru who have sacrificed ourselves. We're talking 20 plus and beyond guru dead. On both sides. Get a Fenris, Fenrir, Bonar, Glasswalker, Silverfang. It is a harrowing image. Many from the Get clans, Tremusen, Ulrichsen, Magnusson, Sigurdsson, they've lost a lot. Gleaming Eye, that's when you think about it for Fianna-wise, to put this into perspective. They haven't lost as much as the McNamaras, no. The house is too astronomically large for that to happen. But at least a quarter of the house has been depleted out of the current count, including the general, Hector von Fremont, who was slain defending and trying to rally the line on the second day of the battle. From what the tale singer says, he died on his feet, surrounded by his men, and he died a Silverfang. The rebel queen, Ophelia Campbell, was found on the third day, covered in a plain of ash, with 20 plus stab wounds. But the rebels are still harming strong. They've even echoed cries that members of House Gleaming Eye be hung, hunted down, prosecuted for treasonous behavior. The Silver King himself, the Talesinger says, has now been put under fire because he was the former true catcher of that sept. The Fianna, well, we remain neutral. But Tri-Spiral has made their opinion clear. They threw out a representative of House Wormfoe for insulting hospitality by demanding representatives of House Gleaming Eye be turned over for justice. They were promptly thrown out. Banished. And it is an unusual thing to hear in the Umbra, because I don't know who and what has been passing through, but like as the Talesinger tells us, you can unmistakably not hear the roars of pain. It's an unmistakable sound. That primal loss. For many of the Fianna, the expression of shock is awe-inspiring. While this may not be right at your front doorstep, you all have this sinking feeling it's going to be, one way or another. So how's my two people doing?
Okay, and will have been spotted moving into the fire hole, and as early as news reached him. And for someone who, as so far, is quite pristine in his appearance, he looks distinctly disheveled. In his, at least in by his standards. And he keeps watch in the corner of the room, fists clenched, folded over his chest. There's moments when the story is told to him for the first time in its entirety by the Talesinger, that an even darker look crosses his face. And for anybody, not that anybody would be looking especially closely, those fists tighten and run white by the knuckles. No matter what side would have won, what has been lost, what we all stand to lose now, it's a wound that's bleeding. And his mind races with any thoughts start to stem the flow. And draws a blank. It's that uncertainty. It's like they've taken a plunge and now just waiting to hit the ground. It's too much up in the air. It's too uncertain, not now.
Maeve isn't so expressionless as to indicate that she's truly fallen into a state of shock. Not yet. No, she squirmed in between people. You know, it's careful not to offend and whatnot, but she's one more of the younger folk, and admittedly one of the newer, who is maybe a little more directly connected to the outside world than some members of the Sept, the ones who've grown up there, the ones who've lived there for the better part of their lives. So no, it's eagerly, carefully, she just kind of shuffled here and squeezed between two people there and got close enough to really look the tale singer on as he was telling the tale, to be watching his face, his tone, his eyes. And
I'll put it like this: it is a hard thing to see the tale singer get so emotional his voice wobbles.
yeah. Yes, it is. It's one of those things where even without the external ties she has already, even without the weird secondhand connection to the battleground, it's hearing the tale singer speak of this as a tragedy, because it is. Hearing him speak of it as a tragedy, recounting the number of lives lost, the families that have been shaken or nearly extinguished, just the sheer number of Gru lives lost. That was enough to bring tears to very big, very empathetic eyes. And by time this tale has wound its way to an end, Maeve hasn't been crying in a big racking sobs, nothing dramatic like that, nothing loud. If anything, she has a hand kind of up over her mouth and nose, as she just has been almost subconsciously trying to even out her breathing, trying not to sputter a bit or sniffle, but just she stands there stiff with the shock, with her cheeks soaked by tears that have just been kind of idly trickling down at the idea of, not only has this happened, not only does it affect people that she knows here and now, but this happened somewhere that she thought was better. This happened somewhere where she was brought up, even just for a year. People that she knows were involved in this, people that she cares about, fought on one side. Didn't resolve it, didn't treaty. They fought and killed so many Gru. So she's shaken, hasn't found the sense yet to put a hand out to stabilize, hasn't tried to sit herself down, is just, as the tail ends finally slowly glancing around, just trying to keep herself stabilized, trying to find maybe a face, maybe a reaction, just something, almost a cue. She needs something to tip her one way or the other, because as it is, she's been kind of rocked all the way down to the bedrock. She's not making objective thoughts over, what do we do about the way this is going to affect people? What do we do about what's happened? It's just that perfect moment when your mind shudders to a stop and you're just stuck.
For Maeve, before she gets plonked where Kian is, because, as Maeve is desperately trying to search, like, you can see Angela, who's trying to get through the crowd to hear what's going on. You can see the likes of Nora kind of clinging on to Duncan, the Chabagaya weeping openly at the loss. Even Gravelwalk, the normally hardened wild man, just has the look of shock on his face. Danny as well has just a grim demeanor so far. You can see Fiuk as well. She'll feel, a hand on her shoulder. It's almost as if he turns her and just pulls her into his chest and is just moving her through the crowd very gently.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about a state like this is that she really just doesn't have the sense at the moment to protest or any desire to do anything else. She just, yeah, it just takes, one gentle hand pulls her in, and he can just steer her along. When he pulls her in against him, she latches, not like straight up into him, but she holds on because now he's a stabilizing factor. He's something she can use so that when this finally hits her and she starts stumbling as she's walking, she just has anything to cling to keep herself upright.
And what Kino sees, Chris just eases her down into one of the chairs at the side of the hall, just sits her down, pours like one of the little goblets of water and just sets it down in front of her. And even picks it up and tips it so she takes a drink. And removes her arms gently from his waist, just sets them down on the table so she's gripping onto the little goblet.
Kean will, as soon as he sees them actually starting to sit down, disengage from that dark spot that he hides in and move towards the back rows of the crowd, making his way around to them
By the time
without
Keen
disturbing.
By the time Keen gets there, you can see Chris has just sat her down. Maeve is kind of staring hunched over, really, nearly at the bowels of her pain. And Chris just turns and very simply, seeing you walking towards, he just turns and walks back into the crowd. Doesn't say a goddamn thing.
Kean doesn't say anything either as he pulls the chair closest to her. Softly, lifting it up, putting it down gently, turning around. No words as he sits down. It's short silence, and Maeve would just feel a hand squeeze hers.
Yeah, right up until the squeeze. She seems so perfectly in her own little world. Once Christopher's taken her hands off of him, yeah, she clings onto the cup, just holds it because she needs something in her hands. It's completely thoughtless. It's autopilot. He eases up, and she doesn't seem to notice. Can eases down. She still doesn't seem to notice until the hand squeezes on hers, and I mean, she looks aside, and I can't say it's a pretty cry. There's still, she turns a bit red. She's finally got that initial snuffle, and she just, she looks at you like clearly you have all the answers and just goes, why would they do that?
You'll feel the squeeze tighten. Not hard, but it's almost like this squeeze. And he fails to offer a reply.
Oh, Jesus. One's gonna have to answer the door.
I'm just having the art at Yakshi on fucking loop here, Torna.
Wait till you meet the Gleaming Eye. I'm going to hurt your feelings.
I think it's always been my favorite track from the game. Loop. There we go.
Okay, apologies for that. I am back.
Yeah, just imagine she was crying throughout all that.
Probably.
Hmm.
It's thankfully again, it's not the loud heaving sobby thing. It's that kind of like when you can tell a person it looks like they're just melting. Just kind of dissolves into it. Probably sputtering, trying to talk, not succeeding. At least for
Keegan
a good
offers a physical shoulder as the chairs are very close by.
Is he actually like tugging her into the shoulder?
Well, if she starts melting, yeah.
Oh yeah. She will. Just and if anything, Kian, like at a glance, it is this raw, innocent disbelief. Like it's just being crushed. The idea that, surely Guru would never do this to each other. Surely this kind of thing doesn't happen unless, maybe if the worm's involved, maybe with very severe extenuating circumstances. But essentially, it's that idealism just getting
Taken
completely
out the
shattered
back.
under the weight of reality. So she will totally take the shoulder, and poor Kian gets covered in tears and snot and the whole nine as she just kind of thankfully muffles herself somewhat in the shoulder. And I mean, just keeps mumbling about, but why? It's always why, because she can't fathom a scenario where one person's life could possibly be worth what, hundreds of lives? She can't fathom anything that could be so important to drive two massive groups of Guru into a full scale murderous battle. Just how was it even worth it?
And there's a gentle petting of hair, how she dissolves. But there's no words. Even on a good day, Kian is not a man of comfort. And right now there's nothing that changes what's happened. It's just that repetitive petting motion.
Oh yeah, the goblet sits completely forgotten, all of right in front of her, and I mean she does. She sputters for a hot minute, and eventually, the head picks up a little bit. She glances around because not searching the room, but rather that glance around of who else is hurting, because on some irrational level she expects Fiona to be there, or the Get who have lost family, and realistically no, they're not going to be just sat there at the table crying, but it's kind of the response any kid, any young adult has when something horrific happens. You look for the other people who are being affected, you gravitate to them.
I mean, you see Nora, who's a very empathetic person, like obviously have a reaction. That the child of Gaia is obviously feeling the sting. Fionn has entered as well, along with Daniel McNessa. Danny looks pretty shaken up. Even Gravelwalk's kind of silent, just watching the crowd. And one man is sitting in the back, watching the whole thing.
And Kim will finally be faced with the second worst question a person could ask, because we got the first worst one out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of looks over and goes, well, what do we do? Like, again, looking around the room as she asked, like, because surely you do something about it. You have to do something. You can't just not do anything, right?
And maybe we'll get a very soft, very gentle. He's not being aware of the situation, to say the least. But he places his hand under her chin, sort of so that she looks at him. Today, we mourn. Then, we think. And then we will act. But not today. Not today.
Yeah, there's a very rough swallow as she's looking around. You can tell she's trying to find the reins again. She's lost them entirely. She's reaching for them. She's trying to exert any kind of self-control, really, but every time there's been death and grievance, there have been bodies to tend. There have been family nearby to comfort. There's been something. And this time it's not losses at their gates. It's not people dead on a mission or in an attack. It's across the ocean. I mean, on the bright side, she finally seems to notice the cup is there and starts kind of just nursing the cup. But still, here and there, just leaking. They don't even well up in her eyes anymore. Enough has gone down her cheeks that there are plenty of trails for them to follow. It's just, she's trying to figure it out. Snuffling, finally wiping her face, like with a sleeve, just trying to get her shit back together.
Does Kian see where Christopher went off?
He went back into the crowd. Kind of just disappeared into it.
Mm-hmm. Checking who else would he be looking for? He does find himself looking for a particular person, I think.
All right. Who in particular?
I'm trying to find. Liam.
Liam is in attendance. Just grab him.
He's more looking just like May was looking at how it is affecting people.
I mean, Liam isn't definitely in shock. He's sitting at one of the tables listening to the tales, like listening to people, listening to opinions. He's doing very much a Galliard thing. He's gathering the info. Definitely, the more he hears, the more shocked he is by what goes on. He kind of just rubs his face like, Jesus Christ. It's that kind of, when you just lean back in the seat and just the breath to process the weight of information you've received.
Yeah.
He's not so much breaking down and crying. It's just more the Jesus.
Is Sasha here?
Yep. The big Shadow Lord is much like his other Shadow Lord companion, silent, watching, studying. So it's almost unnerving, really, to see him. Where is he now? Where's Big Sasha?
Big Sasha. Hmm.
Pretty much like that, just watching people, studying everyone in the room.
Hmm. And who, aside from the Tail Singer, then is the highest ranking member of the Sept present?
It would be currently in the hall is actually just the Tail Singer. Sasha definitely has rank in terms of just experience because he's one of the older age ones. But in terms of actual positioning, Tail Singer's here. You
Okay.
imagine the rest of the troops are already. Some of the riots are probably discussing it. Some of the, do you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can do. You imagine most of the likes of the Wormfall are trying to keep it professional as they can. They probably could be dealing with some of the stuff that's in the aftermath.
Yeah. Um. Keon always feels his pull. That he wishes he could get up, walk to somebody, ask them for anything to do, to be useful. And then he remembers the words of trust. And he thinks he might be right where he needs to be, just for now.
Do you know some people are eyeing Albert, especially?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Traveler folk definitely are eyeing Albert. They seem quite wary of the whole thing. You know, men like John Boy in particular, a bunch of his people, they're kind of just eyeing over a bit.
Yeah.
You'll even see this man as well, eyeing Albert too. There kind of seems to be an overall kind of suspicion, not one that you're not unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm. And guess are the only Guru at attendance here.
There's been some kinfolk coming in and out. The McCarthy family are doing their best to try and get everybody fed and seated. So you'll see the young kinfolk Angela going around with her brother Fiach, who's a guru. But there are kinfolk that kind of pitter in and out, but it's mainly trying to keep the guru at least somewhat stable, somewhat calm. They're trying to be a quiet presence in the background that's causing no undue stress or undue hassle. Or do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's like because these are a guru can snap at the drop of a fucking pin. It's being a very mute but yet constant presence at the same time.
Keeping the wheel spinning.
Exactly.
Do you want some air?
She
You can
finally
bring
just
the cup.
she kind of starts to shake her head, but glances up as he goes, "Oh, you can take the cup," and she's just like, "I help me walk."
Sure.
Yeah, it's a quiet nod as she finally is like, you know what, maybe that is a good idea, and just honestly, probably needs a hand just initially to stand up, and takes a minute there, wavering, thinking about it, because collapsing sounds pretty good right now. Nope, can't have that. And yeah, it'll be painfully slow. Not because
Hmm.
she's, again, it's not big, it's not over the top. She's not trying to call attention. She very much doesn't want to call attention, but you can tell it's a lot, and it's like she can't stop thinking about it long enough to remember how to move her legs.
You'll definitely be helping her. Not so much. Oh, as soon as he sees any stumble, but he's not on her constantly. But it is helping along. And will gently guide her, yeah, towards the exit door, giving his thanks to any of the McCarthy that he passes on the way. A quiet sort of like, yeah. The same way you thank people when they show up at a funeral.
Oh yeah, I mean they're again. Maeve kind of gets a look from Angela, but she doesn't press it. It's a worried look, but she will not press it for now. She's at the moment way too fucking dealing with way too many people, to be honest. But they of course give thanks. They're lovely people and all that. But you guys come outside. It's a very somber morning. The summer spring weather has come in, but at the same time, it's doesn't feel that way really when you look at it.
Hmm.
Out of curiosity, are any of the Get in the home?
No,
I thought that might be the case. Yeah, Maeve will not be hard to guide outside. Not really. A little stumbly, but it's not like she weighs a lot. Even when she does
Not
stumble.
really.
And once they're outside, I mean, thankfully, again, these are things that are so kind of matter of course that she doesn't have to think about it. She just starts kind of like sucking in a breath and holding it and getting it essentially, it's she's so used to doing things like the breath of Gaia right and whatnot for centering that she's doing it on autopilot. As soon as you're outside and it's fresh air and it's moving, just taking a second.
I'll give you this: if you are guys transitioning into the Umbra, just for your heart and your soul,
Mm,
you hear it in the wind.
I just might, honestly, just without thinking. It's what she does to get away from things. Sure, why not? Let's autopilot into the Umbra. Let's hurt my feelings.
thanks, Torna.
Oh, you hear it in the wind.
I assume, yeah, Kian would follow her along.
Oh yeah, it's the best thing. You take her out and she starts kind of taking in a breath and seeming like she's calming down and then fading and you're like, fuck. There she goes.
There
I
she
mean,
blows.
to be fair, it's not like Maeve just like explode cries. No, Keen, like there's a silence in the Umbers. You hear the various spirits do his thing. It's when you hear that, like, start the song again and just press play, and you hear it in the
Yeah.
wind. I don't know what your reaction to it is, or you or Maeve, or
Is it even remotely nearby?
it's near enough. It's further down.
Yeah, trust Maeve's wanderlust. Fuck it. She hears it. She's not thinking clearly or necessarily making good decisions. She's gonna start following it. Not again. It's not like she's suddenly taking off. Kian. I mean, the furthest she'd be by the time you came over were a couple steps. Just it's weird. It's almost dreamlike. She's just kind of following it because she doesn't know what else to do.
That's when you hear the male voice. I imagine it's the song as well. Just I don't know what Keen's reaction is to it, honestly, because it is very unique, very Nordic.
It's painful. But at the risk of sounding edgy, it's not pain that he's unfamiliar with. Maybe it does remind him a lot of those early days. When the first trickle of news came in the morning. When no one knew what was going on. Who was to blame. And honestly, where May feels like she needs to go, she needs to go. He'll keep watch. He follows her. He stays by her side. But she's not a child. And today will be painful.
You know, and eventually you'll see the Get in the distance. They're sitting out by the glen, you know, Runa and Halfdan. Like, Halfdan's got a hand on Runa's shoulder. Like, the bigger Runa is just slumped out on the ground. You can tell the mound of earth has been kicked up as well several times.
Hmm.
Now, I imagine you guys are going to spend some time probably not getting near, I imagine, but still just sitting there, or what? Or are you going near?
Not quite far enough gone to walk up to a couple of Get who are grieving when they tend to like their privacy when they're grieving. No, she's not gonna walk right up to them. She just
So,
perches nearby.
well, you thought I was done hurting your feelings. There is a howl at the set gates.
Yeah, the head whips around. There's a howl.
Mm-hmm. Demanding entrance on representative of the Silver King to turn over the Gleaming Eye traders.
Kian immediately rises to his feet.
Oh yeah, like I'll give it the cue for you guys. Runa's head, like, do you ever see that? You ever see the way a wolf turns very slowly? You know what I mean? When it recognizes a threat.
Well, Maeve is finally finding a way to feel. It's not a good way. No, you know what? Maybe she should be more cautious and think about it more before she goes. But no, the howl and that being what they say. Oh,
Oh yeah,
no,
they
she
demand.
stop
Yeah,
it. Just
they demand. Yeah, exactly. That's the fucked part of this whole thing. They demand it.
like an arrow out of a bow, man. She just goes, can. She did all this
Okay,
slow
and
and wandering, and no, this time she just hoofs it.
Kian is on your tail. Making you could maybe you could run faster than you, but you make sure to be right behind you.
So you guys start moving down along towards the actual um. I'm not going to say you're moving along the glen. You're going to see the following people there initially. While I quickly get my pictures in line.
Hmm.
At the border of the gate are these two, with Dermot keeping a hand on the tail singer, like the tail singer looks fucking furious. Do you know what I mean? The person who's going to who's trying to talk to now I don't know how Maeve's going to feel about this, but the person who's trying to talk to him is the Master of Challenge.
Mm.
You can hear by the direct, Maeve, you can basically hear the commotion that, other people are definitely coming. You know what I mean? But
Oh, yeah.
Here's the fucked part. The Master Challenges is being friendly, whereas you can see the Tail Stinger looks like he's about to fucking go. But Dermot is, not forcing him down or not telling him to back off. It's more like, do you know what I mean? Dermot doesn't know what to do yet, essentially. It's the Arun, cautionary stage. You know what I mean? It's like, I have not been presented a target yet. So I am just going to keep things calm until I recognize the threat. If you get the understanding.
Yeah.
He's playing this cautiously because he does not know what the situation is going to turn into. So it's better to play it caution. You know what I mean?
Oh. So the Master of Challenges is just talking to them, friendly like.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not the hey, token hospitality. It's actually friendly like.
Yeah, I would put it definitely token hospitality, but it's just too calm. Do you know what I mean? You can get there's a difference between Dermot and the Master Challenges, right? Dermot's that hospitality smile. Do you know what I mean? No, there's a definite difference. You know what I mean?
And Kian, you're right by her, aren't you?
Yep.
I'm not even gonna prompt you to roll, honestly, because you guys have spent an age now studying together. You've seen the little things her face does when she feels different ways, and admittedly this isn't necessarily the most subtle. It's not scream it from the mountaintops, but you see her, she pauses and she's taking it in and she's looking between the different people and she looks at the Master of Challenges, and at first there's a brown it, she's concerned, and the longer she watches and obviously kind of assesses the interaction there, that's pretty keen intensity, suspicion and dislike. It's pretty high intensity suspicion and dislike. I'll put it this way, Keen, you've seen people look at you this way.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly rough for Maeve, at the very least.
There's a second now where the Master Challenges come. They talk. The people wait there. You know what I mean? And he comes over to where the Tail Singer is, and you can hear. I mean, I'll put it like this way: the Tail Singer's not being quiet. It's like they demand. You want to invite them. I'll put you want to invite them in.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you can see Gravel Walk starting to walk over now, and I'll put this. Whereas Dermot's given that polite, like, hospitality. I'm ready to draw on these fuckers the second they fuck. Do you know what I mean? Gravelwalk is not even making. Do you know what I mean? You know that, like, Maeve knows the difference. This man has not come here for peace or hospitality. Like, a crowd is starting to gather. So what do you guys do? Because you can see the get coming. Like, Runa is coming. Even Halfdan, the Ragabash, would normally talk her out of it. No, you could. Halfdan's armed.
Jesus.
I'll put it like this: the other two people as well who are there. One of them is definitely a Metis, the way she's kind of slouched over like a hunchback. This girl has the most arrogant, smug smile on her face as well. Whereas he is just rigid and straightforward, just eye fucking people. You know what I mean? Like that Silverfang superiority.
You know what? Gonna start moving down towards the group because someone needs to know that the Getter are about to crest the hill, and I assume Dermot is still looking the most balanced out of the lot.
Yeah, Gravelwalk and the Tailsinger are yelling in the fucking his, you know, he's like, oh, it's my right as Master Challenger here. Well, it's my right as the fucking do you know what I mean? And Gravelwalk's, I don't give a fuck what position you're in. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus. You know what? She's going to turn to look at Kian and go, we need Nessa.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Actually, let me double check and make sure I'm not completely losing it. No, we need better. Actually, you know what? She'll point him over to Dermot and just be like, can you tell him the Getter? They're almost here. I need to find I need to find Tristan.
Go.
Yeah, she noddles and you know
he
what?
just moves past you.
Yeah, she just takes off looking for Tristan McNessa.
Roll me an intelligence perception investigation, Maeve. But we'll get now, Keen. You walk up to this big man, armed with two blades, who is eye fucking the shit out of that Silverfang.
Ryan.
Yeah, there's a sharp glance. Just
The Getter on their way.
Shite.
And he sort of, as he says that, turns kind of his body so that, you know, without pointing, basically, like behind me.
I'm gonna put it like this. You know that guy Albert you saw? Yeah, Albert's with the Get as well. And Sasha.
That is interesting, actually. That is very interesting.
Runa is Albert's packmate.
Ah.
But
that is less interesting.
Sasha is coming. Like, Sasha's armed as well. Yeah, and Dermot glances over. Shit. Alright. We need to go over there and convince them not to fucking charge. Because they will butcher everything. We need to have some semblance of order. Tri-Spiral may have thrown them out, but we need to do the same, otherwise we'll have broken neutrality.
Okay.
But we're not giving up our people to that fucking prick.
Understood, Ryan.
Just gives a nod and steps back, but I'll put it like this. That look that flashes between Dermot and this Silverfang. That is the look of step on my step once, bitch, and you lose your hand.
Yeah.
Like, you can, like, Keen, you can cut the tension with a knife. Like, people look ready to fucking kill each other. How's Keen feeling about all this? The fact that they rode into your sept and demanded this. They
Do you know
probably
what Keen really feels?
they probably came from Trispire when you think about it, Keen.
Probably. Now is not the time.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's completely valid.
That's the only thing Kian has been taught since he was 10 years old, maybe even younger, is the fight is all that matters, the absolute one. Not the politics, not the thing. You found his family fell to the worm. That is all that matters. All of it. It's not what they've lost. It's deep down he's afraid of what they stand to lose now, because they've just been weakened. And as far as matters of the sept, who shall be handed to who, which allegiances, that was never a position that he was in to wager on or to sort of comment on. The only way to gain the respect back of his family was to do what they were told, to prove that they could be loyal. So in terms of who gets what in this situation, he defers completely to the Ryle. You're really making me try and convince these, Torno. This might be the single dangerous thing I've done in any of your games.
So, Keen, you and Dermot walk up to. I'll put it like this. I'm gonna take Dermot off screen because I want to give you the breadth of what you're looking at.
Hooray. Oh, yeah.
So you and Dermot walk up, and Sasha says, "You better have a good reason for stopping me." Runa does not have the words like Sasha does. She's not an Adrian. You know that Darth Maul pace? You know that feral tiger pace?
Yeah.
It's that. Halfdan and these two are the ones you want to watch. The Ragabashes, they're just watching.
I need to very quickly look up what the fuck this gift does and if I can use it.
What gift are you trying to use?
Persuasion.
Want me charisma? Something fun.
Okay, I'm fucking hedging my bets here. I am not going in here unprepared.
While Keen is figuring out her Maeve, how would you do?
Pretty solid. I've got a 9 and an 8 and a 6, if that.
That will do. You find Tristan McNessa. He's come out of the McNamara stronghold. He looks like he was in a deep, like, you know, by the way, that's, you know, when somebody's in a deep meeting, essentially, do you know that type of vibe? Like someone has been in the meeting all fucking morning.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that look about him, you know?
Oh yeah, no hesitation. She's pitching straight towards him.
Yeah, he just watches you come up to him with that look of like, Lady Machion.
There's the bobble of like, yep, takes me a second to breathe. Araya, the silver things are at the gates.
Are they? Which side?
She points.
Which side of Silver Fangs?
Representatives of the Silver demanding that we hand people over. Master Challenges is there.
Really?
That's right.
He just starts walking. Follow me.
Yeah, she follows. Just.
Oh, he lets out a whistle. Like, you know, it's this like bird-like whistle. And out from the pen, like, you see him out from like basically like a larger door, like that he can open. Where is he now?
Aw, Big Bay.
Hmm?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, of course.
oh,
Of
Tarv
fucking
comes
course.
out, and Tarv's in Krynos, and maybe if you thought Tarv was big in Glabro,
I didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about.
Tarv has huge size. Remember that. Remember that about Tarv?
Yeah,
He's in Krynos form, Maeve.
Hmm.
fucking enormous.
You
Oh
got
yeah,
the backup.
like you hear he says it in Gaelic, Maeve, so you understand what he's saying. He's like Tarv, intruders, defilers, and Tarv just goes, yes, royal. Like he just gets bigger. Lady MacFionn, I need you to accompany me. Your name and station will be important. Follow my lead and say what I say, and say it with authority.
Yes, right. You
Good.
see if she actually picks up like the sleeve and like, hold on, while we're walking, I'm just gonna scrub the shit out of my face so I look like I have any sort of control of my situation.
So, back to Keen.
Hmm. Guilty.
Um. So, what do you start saying? Your persuasion is active.
Oh, I just need one success.
Yeah, only needs one.
Ooh.
It will now reduce your social rolls by -1.
Nice.
So what are you saying?
What? It was Sasha who said you better
Yeah,
have
you
a
better
good
have
reason.
a fucking good reason for stopping me. Says it to both of you. Like
Yeah.
it is addressed to the facility. Do you know what I mean? There is no one who is you know what I mean? No one is left out of this lovely equation.
Yeah. We do, Raya.
Then speak, boy.
No more blood today, and no one will be handed over. Not today.
It's oof, Keen. Like Dermot kind of readies himself just in case somebody frenzies. You never know. But
Yeah.
Keen, even you kind of wince a bit at Runa's snarl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They came here looking for it. If they want more cigarettes and blood, I'll give that to them in spades.
They will leave empty-handed.
Romia, charisma, leadership.
Yeah.
The 5, add your pure breed.
I think just quickly, it says they will leave empty-handed, and no blood will defile this sept today. And that's where I roll.
Yep. Charisma, leadership. Diff 5, add your peanut butter.
Peanut butter. That is charisma, leadership. That's what my have. That's that plus. Yeah. Yikes. You know, fuck it. Let me double check, but I'm adding a willpower on this. This is
You know what? I'm going to be cruel, Keen.
okay.
You cannot
Nice.
spend willpower on this.
That's fair. I do have 9 dice.
Yep. This is make or break, Keegan McNamara.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Hey,
7.
nice. This is a really good roll.
Um,
There is. I'll put it like this: you didn't just magically make them calm, no.
No.
But the Adrian listens to reason. Like even Dermot's like, no, he's right. It's not tonight. We'll get them later. And Sasha just nods at Keen's words. But I'll put it like this, man. He's big. He leans in. But there will be blood when they leave. Not today. But this is our land. And they won't return home after such an insult. Will they?
There isn't it's not a step forward. You know what I mean, Torna? He's not challenging. But it is a squaring of shoulders as what he's about to say is he doesn't need the persuasion. He has full confidence when he says, "My sword will fall wherever this set needs it to fall."
Yeah, the
Wherever.
Getchers seem relaxed. They don't relax. They're tense. They're pacing.
He's tense.
Oh yeah, 'cause, like I'll put it like this: these four look ready to fucking gank those Silverfangs over there.
Yeah, this is not a childlike guy coming saying like,
Yeah.
please, please. This is like, not now. Be smart. That's sort of
Oh yeah,
how he's coming.
Absolutely. No, the Shadow Lords listen. Albert nods at Sasha. We'll wait. And Dermot leans into Keen when they start to go, head down to Brook's Rest and make sure that none of the kin are harmed. They take any one of ours. There'll be open warfare for them.
Yes, right.
But Keen, you see in the distance Maeve coming with this man, sleek, dark-eyed, but he seems to radiate a quiet aura of power about him. But I'll put it like this: you've not seen Tarvin Krynos, Keen. Mother of God, is he big?
I almost feel like Kian has to roll here, not to be like, "Oh, that's what you got," kind of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's what you got is backup." I see. And what he definitely feels is, thank God, there's not a fight already, because unleashing that thing, whatever that thing is, it is quiet shock on his face, seeing what Maeve is bringing over the hill. And, he'll actually kind of stay where he is, waiting for Maeve to kind of catch up and then tail on to her, staying by her side whenever he can.
It's fucking mad, Keen, because you can feel those four coming up behind you and Dermot. Like, I imagine Keen starts sweating, like, no. Do you know what I mean?
One step in front of the other. Yeah.
I'll put it like this. The Silverfangs, the Metis here kind of bulks up a bit, but when she sees the big one, she even lets out a snarl. This one kind of raises her eyebrows. His neutral kind of stoic expression even kind of stiffens a bit because Jesus fucking.
I can imagine like a nobleman being told something rude. Mm-hmm.
And the warder says, "Gentlemen, esteemed members of Falcon Broods, you're in my land." And they say, "We are here because we were sent." Oh, I know why you're here and I know where you're coming from, but this is not Silver Tara and this is not Tri-Spiral. We will not give you the polite exit, especially since you demanded. And you're in our territory. And this being Lady Maeve MacFionn, it would be rather rude to consider pursuing an aggressive action with a member of the royal bloodline present, along with several other members. Tarv is I fucking that Metis. Like, I'll put it like this for Kian and Maeve. Tarv is just waiting for Tristan to snap his finger so he can snap that thing in half. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's ever seen that. Keegan's not seen Bloodlust from Tarv. I'm gonna go ahead and say that he sparred with him somewhat on and off, simply because he's a masochist like that. But it's always that cold sort of, I'm just doing my duty. He wants this.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time Kean has seen him want a fight. He never wants it.
Oh yeah, you can hear the above you, Keen, like a bull. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the Silverfang says this line. Now, both of you are gonna have to roll rage, and he goes, "I would choose your words carefully next, Tristan MacNessa. They might be your last as warder of the Sept."
Yep, that's a roll. That's a.
Roll rage. I imagine all three of you, everybody in the room rolls no, but both roll rage.
Rage for you and rage for you.
You all get a rage action. Yep.
You're good.
I'm assuming the extreme distress earlier should have merited a point as well.
Yes.
So we're taking and rolling.
Taking and rolling. Raz roll 4 dice, not 3.
Oh, I'll roll one more.
You're fine, Maeve. You're all right.
I'm mad, but I'm okay.
You're okay. Both of you are okay. You're mad. Maeve especially. You got 3 successes on that. You need 4 to frenzy. Keen, you're peeved. 1 success still means you're peeved. You know what I mean? You've gone up a rage.
Yep.
So what do you guys do?
Ooh, didn't I just survive one standoff to one? Could you give me 5 minutes here to recharge?
But what do you do? Because you know, I know Keen won't speak out of turn. But what do you do?
No. When he takes the extra rage and has to spend it, it's that thing he hasn't done yet, which is move his hand to his hilt and just grip it. And in order, it's what he does to stop himself from sliding it out of the sheath, is just gripping it harder and harder. That's the only thing to stop him actually moving forward with his hand, and it's gripping it tighter.
Yo, we're
But
still.
he stands.
Oh, what?
Sorry, we're still in the Ember, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Dude, for the rage roll, Maeve always has like a moonlit glow going on. She literally like flares. That full moon feel. She's got it.
Keen is giving him the best McNamara stare. This is
So
peak.
Tristan turns away for a second, like pondering, looking over all of you. Do you make any gesture towards him? Do anything like that? It's like he's contemplating.
There's just stoic return.
Are they still outside the gate?
Yes. It's a standoff outside the gate, essentially, as I described.
And that is like the equivalent of walking into someone's house and telling them how to run it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about a gesture, but when Tristan looks around, like, she's furious. And that glance she throws him is unusually harsh. Just like, please tell me we don't have to. She's not practiced in exercising her voice as a Macfion. So it's that glance of, like, tell me we don't have to literally just listen to this. It's so.
Give me charisma, expression, both of you. Because I imagine both of you are exhibiting the same thing.
Yeah, there's a look of loyalty. Like, what he basically looks back as.
I imagine disgust as well,
standing.
because they've broken hospitality.
They don't even have it yet, and they've broken it. It's fucking impressive. Yeah. It's a new low. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, what do you say, charisma expression?
Don't forget your peanut butter.
Nobody can spend willpower as well.
I don't need to.
No.
I know you don't need to, because you have peanut butter at the balls.
I also wish I had a specialty right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So these confessions are explained, and it's very calm. The air is tense, though. Tristan, it's weird, man. Tristan McNessa is creepy like that. He's so calm. That's what's creepy about him. Like, everyone else is raring at this point. Even Dermot just went, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Tristan just ponders, and the Silverfang has this smug expression, like, "Haha, yeah, I just." It's when Tristan McNessa whirls, and that knife just stops right at your man's throat, and people draw. They don't attack, but they draw. Dermot
Yep.
draws his blades. Sasha draw. Like everyone goes up the. You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys do? Because he
Draw.
turns on his heel and puts the blade up to your man's throat.
There's not
What do you-
much seconds to think other than this draw.
What about you, Maeve?
I'm trying to think because Maeve doesn't generally really keep/use a weapon. She wasn't training, so she didn't have the spear.
Some people are just going to Krynos. Like
Yeah.
Luna's not using the blade; she's going up to Krynos.
I'm not gonna lie, Maeve's angry enough. Yeah, everyone pulls weapons, everyone whirls. Yeah, she'll explode into Krynos. She'll blow the rage for it. She won't advance past the Magnessa, but just right alongside, just essentially still the idea of she's backing his play.
Oh, he just says, "Oh, I chose my words carefully, Silverfang. Perhaps you should have chosen much the same. Now, there's your fucking answer. Now we're all along before I decide to exact my kind of vengeance. And I'll tell you this, we in the Red Branch ain't no Ophelia Campbell. When we do a job, we finish it." Both of you roll intimidation.
And
Minus one
charisma or minute.
Charisma. No, there's no way you're manipulating this situation at this point.
I just never
Minus
know
one.
what to roll for intimidation.
Charisma intimidation minus one diff. I want you guys to feel as part of the scene as possible, because I'll put it like this: 7 Guru going to Krynos almost immediately. Do you know what I mean? That's 1 for Keen.
Yep.
Maeve. Good.
With -1 is 4.
But I'll put it like this: Tarv
wait,
gets up and yep.
Doesn't
sorry.
that mean the 2 for me? Sorry. Because wait, does persuasion work for intimidation things? Because doesn't that last the entire scene?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's 2 for you.
So, yeah.
But Tarv gets up and snarls at that Menace's face. You know what I mean? Like bites just to the point where it stops. Activate Razor Claws. Like shit gets real. And the Silverfangs, they go in undeathly paleness because they've just realized, oh, do you know what I mean? And the guy tries to go like, hey, you know what I mean? It's that kind of like back down as they back off. It's that slow, like we're just going to go back. We're going to go back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and eventually, one by one, they just fade. Tristan sheets the little... He pulled silver on them. I'll put it like that, guys.
Of course he did.
He just sheets it and turns. In the coming week, they'll be taking their time getting to where they're going. They have no access to a moon bridge. We have to keep Fianna neutrality. If it's done, make sure that you keep that in mind. He just leans into Maeve. So Christopher can hear as well. I'll be looking for you for that. So he just moves by. People just seem to... Tar falls down, crunching down into Glabro.
I'm not gonna lie, normally Maeve would be kind of shocked and appalled, but she's furious and she's almost as mad at herself for not thinking of something to say to express how disgusted she is with everything that they just tried to do. No, she just it's not quite that like big enthusiastic nod that like maybe the Get would have given him, but she nods, understanding. She's so angry that she's like, now that they're turning once they've faded, she's begun to shake a bit. She doesn't. It's a lot of emotions running back to back today. Furious though.
So, would you guys like to end the scene there?
Yeah.
Or you can go about having your own social scenes or whatever. But we'll end this scene there.
Yeah. All right. Then thank you, ST for STing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time. Doo-doo-doo.